So you're probably wondering, how am I going to do theory crafting and build crafting for the new Borderlands 4 if it's not even out yet? You know, we don't even have our hands on the game yet. There's a wonderful website by the name of Maxroll, maxroll.gg. On Maxroll's website, we have lots to look at. I first learned about Maxroll through Diablo, specifically Diablo 4. They deal with games like Path of Exile, Diablo 4. Looks like they have WoW on here, Last Epoch, Throne and Liberty, Expedition 33, Diablo 3, Diablo 2, Lost Ark, Destiny 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, Elden Ring, Night Rain. We're talking about Borderlands 4 today. On the left-hand side here, we see the symbol for Borderlands 4. So now that we're on Borderlands 4, there's a couple different things we can look at on this website. I can go to the planner, and within the planner, they have the skill trees. Right now, we are looking at the skill tree for Vex, the Siren, and it gives you all these options, and you can put points in, and you know that unlocks different parts of the skill tree, and you can kind of go through and build out the character to your needs. And then if you ever wanted to change your character, you can come up here, click on the picture, select character, Vex, Rafa, Amon, Harlowe. You can change it up, go to any one of these characters. You can click on the picture at the top here to show which skill tree you want to put points into. You can hover over top of them to kind of get a preview of what they are. So this is where you can go to create your own build. And if you're signed into your account, you can actually save a build. If you don't feel like creating your own build, you can go on over to Maxroll builds right here. And under Maxroll builds, you're gonna see builds by content creators and gamers and theory crafters by the name of Abby Hour, Birdman, Moxie, Chadley. Those seem to be the four main people for Borderlands 4. And as of right now under Maxroll builds, I can click on Amon, for instance, and it'll show me the two main builds for Amon. But if you can see here, Moxie has a melee Amon character, and I can click on that, and it'll show me the planner and show me the 49 points that he has invested in the Calamity Tree. So all red on that one. And then their action skills and their augment and their capstone that they have selected. Also on there, you can see author is Moxie, and you can stay connected by going to his Twitch, his X, formerly known as Twitter, or YouTube. And whenever you click on one of those links, it'll take you right to their page. Lastly, we have here this thing called community builds. And under community builds, well, these are the people like myself and any other person that gets an account and creates a build and saves it to the public. You can choose a character, so we'll choose Rafa. You can select for story, post-story, solo, multiplayer, and then you can look here. These are community builds where anyone can make a build. Remember to rate a build if you like or dislike it. This is only like a 3-star build, you know, maybe not the best, but then we see, oh, this is a 4.5. And maybe you click on this and you're like, wow, that was a really smart build. I really like what they did. Same deal. You can click the little arrow on the side and it will reveal all their other builds. 4.4, 4.5, 4, 5. So you can see that they've got some good builds going. I'm going to go to the profile manager. And from here, you can see all of my builds. I've done a few. Today, we're gonna look at the first one, which is called Support Monster. This is the first build that I'm going to be going for in Borderlands 4. I'm going to start the game as Harlowe, and I'm playing with two of my really good friends, and we've played through all of the Borderlands games together. So this time around, I thought it might be cool to run a support character. The primary branch of this tree is going to be green, Cosmic Brilliance. And then we dip into Seize the Day a little bit as well. Harlowe gets Entanglement. Whenever Harlowe uses an action skill on enemies, those enemies become entangled. Entangled enemies share a portion of gun damage and share damage with other entangled enemies. The shared damage, 7% of damage dealt, for about 12 seconds. So we focus on Cosmic Brilliance to get the Flux Generator. Harlowe throws a Flux Generator in front of her, which projects an energy field dealing cryo damage over time, entangling enemies. Allies inside the energy field gain Overshield. Press Action Skill to pick up the Flux Generator and toss it again. Does about 84 damage per second. Duration's about 22 seconds, cooldown 55 seconds. The main thing is going to be throwing this bubble out, creating a dome that we are going to benefit from. So we start with Momentum. Whenever Harlowe entangles an enemy, she and her allies deal increased crit damage. We went ahead and put 5 points into this, 5% per point. So we're looking at 25% extra critical hit damage for 12 seconds. And I think that stacks with the amount of points. For about a minute, we gain increased critical hit damage every time we entangle an enemy, which in this case we will be doing a lot by throwing our bubble out. Coming on down, we are going to select Mass Function. Harlowe and her allies gain increased reload speed for every entangled enemy. We're putting 5 points in, 3% per point, so 15% per entangled enemy. And if we throw out the bubble and it hits a bunch of enemies, well, we're going to get basically instant reloads. Faster reloading equals more shooting, which is a higher damage output in a faster amount of time. We're also going to go ahead and throw 2 points into Heat Death, where Harlowe gains cryo efficiency by 20%. Along here, we have our first augment, first and only augment. Enemies inside Harlowe's Flux Generator lose all elemental resistances. Harlowe and her allies inside of the Flux Generator gain increased status effect chance by 100% chance. So any enemy inside of this bubble automatically loses all resistances to the elements. And then the allies gain a 100% chance to deal a status effect. So for me, I think that is absolutely massive, and that'll come in handy more often than we probably think. Next, we come on down to Absolute Zero. Whenever Harlowe freezes an enemy, she receives a stack of 0 point. For every stack of 0 point, her action skill duration freezes for a short amount of time. We're talking about 0.8 seconds per point. So almost a full second, 5 seconds every time she freezes an enemy. She's going to be freezing a lot because any of those enemies inside of the bubble are losing their resistances to elements, and she's going to be dealing cryo damage at 100% within the bubble. She's going to be freezing pretty much everybody in that bubble, which is going to be expanding the duration of the action skill for longer. Then we're going to go ahead and throw 3 points into Confirmative Reality. Whenever Harlowe shoots an entangled enemy, she and her allies restore a portion of their action skill cooldown. It's about 0.5 per shot. And we put 3 points into that. So we're talking about 1.5 points per bullet per shot into an entangled enemy. So in this case, we're going to be throwing the bubble. We're going to be hitting enemies. We're going to be entangling those enemies. And then every time we shoot an enemy, it's going to be giving us more action skill cooldown so we can use our bubble more frequently, as well as our allies also get their action skill back faster. I'm already noticing something that I think I might need to change. Next up, we have Refraction. Harlowe and her allies gain ricochet chance against entangled enemies. Critical hits double this chance. Ricochets have reduced damage as usual. So the normal chance is about 6%. We put 5 points in, that's 30%. If we hit a crit, then that 30% is now a 60% chance. But that's me and my allies. So again, it's all about the allies. Next up, we took a couple points in both of these because we need at least 5 to get down to the capstone. So we're going to do 3 points into Accretion. Harlowe and her allies gain lifesteal against entangled enemies. Lifesteal is about 3% per point, so we're looking at about 9% lifesteal against entangled enemies. And then over here, Distribution Function. Whenever Harlowe's action skill damages an enemy, restore a portion of hers and her allies' shield capacity. If their shields are full, they gain Overshield instead. Shield restores about 6% per point. We have 2 points, that's about 12% of the damage dealt goes into shields. So that allows us to get down to the capstone, which is called group study. Now this is something that I will have to experiment with, because if it does not work as intended, I may need to switch it up and go with one of the other capstones, because it says here, Harlowe spawns a Halo sidekick for each ally instead of her flux generator. Now we've been building this flux generator build where we're putting everybody in the bubble, but this is replacing the bubble with Halo sidekicks. The Halo sidekicks automatically fly to each ally, hover near them, granting increased gun damage, fire rate, and reload speed. The action skill re-triggering will allow Harlowe's Halo sidekick to increase their effects. This effect stacks. While overloaded, Harlowe's action skill duration drains faster. So we're adding another 25% gun damage, 20% fire rate, 30% reload speed, duration rate, 20%, and this can be applied multiple times. The more times you apply it, the faster it goes away. But essentially you could set it off a few times and keep upping the gun damage and the fire. I am curious about the bubble. Like, does the bubble go away? Everybody that we were entangling with the bubble, are we no longer getting the benefits from? This is something that I will have to experiment with, but as of right now, this is what I'm going with, because again, it is helping Harlowe and her allies. And then also down here, we have pencils down. While Harlowe's action skill is cooling down, she grants herself and her allies reload speed and fire rate. So basically, while those downtimes that we don't have group study going, or our flux generator action skill going, well, grant myself and my allies reload speed and fire rate by 3 points. So that makes the reload speed and fire rate both 21% faster, already on top of the other reload speed and fire rate. So that's everything in the green tree. That's all 33 points we have in Cosmic Brilliance. If I head on over to Seize the Day in the blue tree, we're going to give ourselves 5 points into Pulse Drive. Harlowe gains increased action skill cooldown rate by 5 points at 5%. So we're looking at 25% faster cooldown on the action skill, so we can use the group study flux generator more frequently. Periodic table flip. Harlowe gains increased elemental damage, status effect application chance, and cryo effectiveness by 5 points. So elemental damage gets 20%. Status effect application chance 20%, cryo effectiveness 20%. The reason we do that is because we have absolute 0. Whenever Harlowe freezes an enemy, she receives a stack of 0 point. For every stack of 0 point, her action skill duration freezes for a short time, which means it's going to extend the action skill that we have going. So the more cryo that we can do to folks, the more freezing we can do, the longer the duration of the action skill goes. Then we go down to 2 coolant for schoolant. Whenever Harlowe deals cryo damage, gain increased action skill cooldown rate. Action skill cooldown rate by 35% with the 5 points that we have in there. And then lastly, we put our final point into Ripple Effect. It's a kill skill. Whenever Harlowe kills an entangled enemy, automatically entangle another nearby, entangle an enemy, kill the entangled enemy, it automatically entangles another, which then we keep chaining them together. So that is the Cosmic Brilliance support monster Harlowe build that I'm going to go for on day 1. Again, I am curious about how group study is going to work. No one has used it yet, so we're not sure if the flux generator is still there. And then there's just these Halo sidekicks. It does say it spawns a Halo sidekick for each ally instead of her flux generator. And I don't know if these Halo sidekicks are going to place a little bubble around each ally and then they have to step into a enemy to get them within the bubble, or maybe they just go away altogether. And it says, you know, entangled enemies. Whenever Harlowe uses her action skill on enemies, those enemies become entangled. Group study doesn't go after the enemies, it goes after your allies. So I'm wondering if maybe while the drones are on your allies, if by them doing damage to an enemy, if that'll cause them to be entangled. If that's the case, everyone's getting entangled all the time, and everything's going to stack wonderfully. If this means I've lost the ability to entangle people and allies with my group study capstone, well then I need to change that right away. And we'd be looking at different capstones like Harlowe's Flux Generator occasionally shoots radiation projectiles at nearby enemies outside of the radius. If these projectiles irradiate an enemy, the Flux Generator then drags them within the radius. Harlowe's Flux Generator creates a singularity burst that drags in nearby enemies and increases the action skill power. So this one wouldn't be bad because it's going to be hitting people outside of the radius, and then if it does, it's going to be pulling them in, and the more people that get in to the radius are going to be entangled. I still like the theory of group study allowing you to get in entanglement from the damage, but if not, I'm probably leaning towards Violent Horizon or the other capstone, Potential Transference Charge Skill. Whenever Harlowe relocates her Flux Generator, it teleports to a location in her crosshairs, consuming a charge. I think they have a typo there. Consuming a charge and creating a shock burst that deals shock damage to enemies inside it, grants a free second wind to allies, and heals allies within the Flux Generator. So this one's actually supportive as well. So if we're having trouble staying alive, I'm probably going Potential Transference to allow free second wins and healing mechanics. Still like the idea of group study. So right now I'm leaning group study. If not, then I'm probably clearing all of these and heading over to Potential Transference. But if I feel like we're frying, then I'm probably just going to go Violent Horizon. But I think this one's more supportive by being able to revive people right away and heal them. I also like Decoherence. I would really love to find a way to put 5 points in this. Harlowe deals increased damage with all sources to entangled enemies. Enemies inside of her Flux Generator take further increased damage. So entangled enemies get a bonus damage of 5%, and the Flux Generator enemies bonus damage 3%. It's gonna start to add up pretty quickly. Maybe I could reduce the points here. Maybe I can reduce some points here. I really would love to be able to get that, especially if I don't do this. Like, what if I eliminated all this? Decoherence. Whenever Harlowe entangles an enemy, she gains increased skill damage, skill duration, and action skill cooldown rate. This affects stacks. That's really good. Harlowe deals bonus damage with guns, melee attacks, and action skill while she has overshield. The more overshield she has, the bigger the bonus. Not going for that build, so I would probably go Decoherence, Feedback Loop, and Potential Transference. We're thinking about it. I might just make that change now. So I'm going to make this right click here, take points out of that. I'm going to go over to Decoherence, put in my 5 points. Whenever Harlowe entangles an enemy, she gains increased action skill damage, action skill duration, and action skill cooldown rate. This affects stacks. And then we're going to do the Potential Transference as the capstone. Now it does leave me with 3 points remaining here, so I can look and see that's overshield, and it's mainly just for Harlowe, not her teammates. I'm looking for stuff that just gives effectiveness to the rest of the team. This 20% cryo efficiency, at first I thought it looked good, but I'm thinking if I have this mass ejection, enemies inside Harlowe's Flux Generator lose all elemental resistances. Harlowe and her allies inside of her Flux Generator gain increased status effect chance. So if I'm going to be freezing people within the bubble at 100%, I don't really need the 20% if I'm already getting 100%, right? So then I can lose these 2 points and gave myself 5 points to work with now. Cryo damage gains increased action skill cooldown rate. I still want action skill cooldown rate, so that's good. Harlowe gains increased action skill duration for every entangled enemy. Ooh, okay, so that'll keep it going. That's the first one that I saw that's like, okay, that'll be good. I'm just gonna put concurrence. Harlowe gains increased action skill duration for every entangled enemy. Each action skill duration 3% per entangled enemy, so that's 15% per entangled enemy. And the more people we land our Flux Generator on top of, the more time that is going to be up. I think that's it. I am going to lock it in. Let's go ahead and save that profile. We got Harlowe, support monster, flux generator, mass ejection, potential transference, 28 points in cosmic brilliance, 21 points in seize the day. This is the final skill tree that I am going to go with day one with Harlowe as my support build to help my two friends out as we go through the story. And I cannot wait. I thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments if you would change anything, if you agree, disagree with anything. Maybe I overlooked something that you can elaborate on. Let me know. Let's work together and let's try to make the best support Harlowe we can make. Take care, everybody. Have a great one.